What's going on, Gemini? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're getting ready to go down on this book or get down for this month so far. I know, not my strongest of intros, but I'm really excited, Gemini. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the greatest, Gemini, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. And let me tell you why I'm so excited, Gemini, because it is Celestial News Monthly. Best time of the month there, Gemini. How could you not? I know you're just losing it. But with this monthly spread, Gemini, whenever the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are and how we can work with the energies. And this is going to be an interesting one for you, Gemini. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said there, Gemini, let's jump into it. Actually, let me fix my necklace real quick. There we go. All right, Gemini, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Oh, just a great angel around here, Gemini. Now, Gemini, I have Zodiac Oracle cards here with the signs that the sun and the planets are in. We're actually going to talk about some lunar shenanigans today. That's always so exciting because it's eclipse season. But I'm going to pull an Oracle card from this deck for each one of them, and then we'll get some details with the tarot. But before we get into that, Gemini, actually this new thing that just sort of started with Scorpio's video yesterday. So I have these dice here that came with one of the decks that I work with, and I always use this one just to have it as just a little reference point there. But there are these other two that have like the planetary symbols, and it has these. It's a 12-sided, both are 12-sided dice, and it has these. Has numbers on the other one here, which represents the houses. And I rolled some for you before the reading, and I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to even do that before or after, or during. But you got Uranus in the 12th house. So if you happen to have your chart handy, you may want to see what your Uranus placement is doing. Do you have any things in the 12th house? Do you have any planets that are forming any aspects with your Uranus placements? Uranus deals with the side of you that wants to be free, that wants you to embody your unique self because in doing that, then that helps raise the collective, where you just need to break free. And I feel that there may be, because if you happen to have Uranus in the 12th house, and I want to say my stepfather actually has Uranus in the 12th house, but this could be some sort of subconscious things that are keeping you from expressing yourself. Maybe there's some sort of subconscious fears. Maybe there's this fear of or maybe there's this self-esteem thing that's gone on there. Maybe there's some experience that happened that maybe someone told you that you couldn't do something, and this kind of helped you keep from breaking out. But now there's something, Uranus is very rebellious energy here too. So I feel that this can be one, Gemini, where especially if you have this placement, but just I feel like this may be even something to think about in general. Are there any sort of things that we need to grow from, any sort of things that we need to let go? Maybe there are some sort of things that I'm getting even a stubbornness here that sometimes that Uranus energy at a lower expression can bring. Maybe there were some sort of thoughts or things that we may have been holding on to that we're needing to release possibly. But that's just something to kind of just to think about with that Uranus in the 12th house. And if you happen to have that placement there, Gemini, that might be something to look into. If you want to talk more about that with that Gemini, check down in the description box below. You can book a reading with me, and we can talk about where the planetary energies are at, how they're working in your chart there. Maybe Uranus is transiting through your 12th house. We can see what kind of stuff may be coming up for the surface there. Maybe kind of be a bit because Uranus can bring a bit of shock there, can bring it brings, I feel like, time in an interesting sense into our senses in a way too. But just a little extra little notes there, Gemini. But let's go ahead and get into this energy here, because you have these with this Aries, this big party that Aries is getting ready to throw in their sign, because you have the sun that's entering Aries. We have a new moon total solar eclipse that's going to be happening in Aries. Your ruler, Mercury, is going to be going retrograde, and then we have Venus that's going to be entering into Aries. And let's talk about your ruler, because I feel like Mercury's been just kind of cruising on by here, Gemini, because Mercury is going to be going retrograde on the 1st of April at about 3:15 p.m. and that'll be Pacific time, and then we'll be there and we'll be retrograde through the 25th of April. Now, with Mercury taking a very long stay in Aries, I feel that how I've been feeling this with this energy, because Aries gets to a very far point Mercury gets to a very long, or, to a very close to the end of Aries before they go retrograde. And I feel that this could be, for some energies, for some of you Gemini, that you may find that your mind has been kind of racing as of late here, and then when we get to this retrograde, things just sort of like come to a big halt. I was picturing this, if you've ever seen like the Tom and Jerry, where it's like Tom will provoke the dog or something, and then the dog will come out of the house, and then like right as he gets close to Tom, that leash reaches, and then he gets whiplash. That's kind of what I'm picturing with this Mercury energy here. And I feel, be mindful of if your mind has been very overactive as of late, doing like the occasional maybe journaling to just kind of dump some of those thoughts out of there, Gemini. Just kind of do some mental decluttering, making sure that, especially if you've been feeling, because I know when I really get my mind to cook in there, because I have my moon placements in Gemini, when my mind gets a cooking, it's nice to just get out and just get some fresh air, do some things to kind of ground yourself. And that's what I feel this Mercury retrograde is going to maybe do for you, Gemini, is kind of ground you, because Mercury gets to, they turn retrograde at about 27 degrees, 13 minutes. So, like I was saying, pretty far along into Aries. So I feel like any sort of like plans or ideas that you may want to get started up, this Mercury retrograde gives you a chance to kind of analyze, what thoughts do we really, and what ideas do we really want to invest in? What do we feel is what? Oh, and actually, let me actually shuffle while I'm talking about this. What are some ideas that we actually want to pursue? Which ones make sense right now? It's not like we're just scrapping the ones that we can't start, but maybe we can do some stuff at a later date here. Or maybe this could even be where we're exchanging some ideas, maybe getting into some sort of co-creation possibly. So, I feel this Mercury retrograde can be a very constructive one here, Gemini. And one, I feel too, if you haven't been feeling very motivated, thank you, higher self. If you haven't been feeling very motivated as of late, this can be something where you can start taking, planting some new ideas here. Because, let's talk about let's get back to talking about let's talk about the sun, Gemini, because the sun's going to be entering Aries on the 19th of March, and that'll be at about 8:07 p.m., and then we'll be there through the 19th of April. With this energy, Mercury kind of kicks it off being, entering into Aries. And granted, we already had Chiron in the nodes or in the North Node that's in Aries. But, with the sun entering here, now we're kicking off the spring equinox. And things are coming to life. We're starting off the new astrological year. And this is a very revitalizing time. The sun is exalted in Aries. So after the sign that he rules, which he's dignified in Leo, the sun does very well in Aries. And I feel that this is just like a breath of fresh air, just new life. This is a time to get the blood pumping, to get ideas stirring up there, Gemini, I feel like kind of look at life in a new type of lens. Find new experiences in your everyday. Come at life with a different type of curiosity, like not what, like what is possible. It's something very intentional here. But for you, where I've been getting a lot of kind of like visualization for some of the signs here, I feel like yours is more of an action type of base here, because with this Aries energy, depending on where your Gemini placements are at, this is forming a sextile with your signs, which is very excitable energies. This can be one where we can get things moving, really kind of, just be active here, Gemini, whatever that's looking like. Maybe you wanting to join a spin class group. Maybe you're joining a neighborhood walking thing. Maybe you're doing maybe you're finally tackling some projects around the home. Maybe you're buying and looking into getting a home. But this is a type of energy. I feel like this is a time to think about what are some new things, some fresh energy that you can kind of get started here. Maybe you're wanting to write a book. Maybe you're wanting to travel. But I feel that this is a great time for thinking about some big changes, because we have this next energy here. We have a new moon total solar eclipse that's happening in Aries on the 8th of April, and it'll happen at about 11:21 a.m. and it's going to be happening at 19 degrees 24 minutes of Aries. And I'm talking about these points because if you want to look at your chart, if you happen to have that and know the degree points, you can see where this is forming aspects with your either Gemini placements, or if you have any other air placements, Libra, Aquarius, or any cardinal placements, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, or Aries. But this new moon total solar eclipse, new moons are about new beginnings. It's fertile ground, but with the sun being here, I feel that this new moon, it's like the sun is providing this warmth, is providing this heat. It's the sun is the life force in our chart. So I feel like for you, Gemini, this is helping almost like accelerate the seeds of growth a little bit for you, or it's giving you something. I feel like it gives you an opportunity to, I'm getting like an Eight of Wands energy, just really kind of getting some things moving. But I do feel, again, just making sure that we're paying attention to our bodies, that we're getting enough rest. Because I feel like with all this excitable energy, that this could be where you may want to learn all of the things. You may want to, you may overload in a sense. I feel we want to be mindful about that, taking some breaks and just, but I also just feel like, again, thinking big, starting to get the pieces of the puzzle together there, start really kind of formulating a picture here, Gemini. Once Mercury, because Mercury's going to be, oh no, when this is coming out, Mercury would have just entered into Aries. So I just feel like, while we still have like all this Pisces energy too, during Pisces, definitely do the dreaming. But then like I say like right around Aries season, let's get some stuff cooking there, Gemini. And then I feel the retrograde will be the revision type of era, the revision period. And then the last thing there, Gemini, you have the lovely Empress. Venus is going to be entering into Aries on the 4th of April at about 9 p.m. And then we'll be there through the 29th of April. Now, this is one where I do feel that we want to, again, check in with the body, because Aries energy is very physical. It's how we, it represents, Aries is associated with the first house, which is our ascendant, our rising sign, which is how we come across the mask that we wear in the world. It can even translate as some physical features as well. So I feel there is this making sure to tend to the body, think about how you're doing. If you're working with a lot of nervous energy, how are you managing that? you know, what are some ways maybe we're needing to do some more physical things. Maybe we're needing to walk a bit more, get outside, maybe do some workouts inside possibly, or maybe you want to register for a gym, or this could be where I even feel like this can be the Empress in Aries gives me this very kind of sporty type of energy here. Like it's just a very active, very passionate Empress. So I feel that this can be one for you, Gemini, where you're just having can welcome in a lot of like fun energy as well. This again a time to I feel like be curious, a time to just go out there and just go take in this kind of fresh energy and go get inspired, get invigorated here. But I like that. Let's go ahead and get into this first card here, Gemini, which you have the Puppeteer card here in reverse, which is a card of explanations and apologies. And you know, that's interesting, Gemini, because I feel that for some, if you're in some sort of dynamic where there is this sort of manipulation that is going on, and I was kind of feeling this with this Libra this lunar eclipse that's getting ready to happen, which I'm glad we'll talk about this next, because I feel that Gemini, you are, while we're talking about all this Aries energy, and you're really in it right now with your ruler being in Aries. No one controls you. You know, you are, you know, remember your autonomy. And I feel that if you're in some sort of relationship where I feel like you have to, I guess, like over explain, because I feel like, you know, it's one thing to let someone maybe know that you're going to go out and be safe, for example, but you have to explain your every move, or if you feel that you're under some sort of microscope, that everything that you're doing is being challenged, or that you do find yourself apologizing for things, but this feels very kind of self-sacrificing in a way. Just something I feel like to observe your relationships there, Gemini. And I feel that be mindful with your ruler being in Aries, because that is a hot place for Mercury to be. And I feel if provoked, you know, Gemini energy, I find, can be very glib. You know, can just kind of, mouth can sometimes get ahead of the head, and it can cut sharp. It's sharp, it's fast, it's before you do knives. Before you know it, just Gemini's gone to work, and by the time we're done, we don't know what's happened. So I feel like, and in Gemini, just to be fair, I do feel like Gemini is an energy that is there. It's very good with its words, can piece together things, form these sort of truths and half-truths and stuff. I was actually like kind of meditating on that the other day. I had told someone someone had asked me a question. It's just sidebar, Gemini. Someone had asked me a question, and the way I answered it, both facts were true. But were they true together? Not so much. So we're just not talking about it. But that's what I mean, Gemini. Just being mindful of any sort of like manipulation, any sort of things like that. But let's get some tarot on this, Gemini, and see what's going on with that. All right, Gemini. Take care of yourself. Let's see what's going on here. Oh. Interesting. Okay. So you have the Hermit, the Page of Cups, and the Six of Swords in reverse. Then you have the Three of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Two of Pentacles upright here, Gemini. And I feel with this Page of Pentacles being here, Gemini, that so I'm getting this energy here of asking some of the things that you're doing right now, the things that you're starting up. Because the pages are fresh energy, but it's just like, you know, are they things that you actually want to do? Or are we doing stuff? Because there's something very kind of people-pleasing here with this puppeteer card. And it's not, maybe this is not necessarily you being controlled, but maybe this is you just playing, being able, because Gemini energy is very adaptable. You know, with this Three of Cups here, it almost feels like for some that there's this energy here where we just sort of go around and maybe just it's not, I don't know, it's like it's almost like a need to kind of keep the peace here for some. Like, you'll say the right things, you know how to move around, but let me get a little bit more on this Three of Cups here, Gemini. Thank you, higher self. Let me see what's going on with that. Interesting. Okay, so the Three of Cups, or excuse me, the Three of Cups is clarified by one of your cards for me, the King of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here, Gemini. And you know, I almost, okay, so I feel with this here, Gemini, that maybe there's something here where we have this relationship possibly, where this could be a friend thing, this could be a family thing, this could maybe even be a work thing possibly, but there's some sort of emotional tie maybe in here. And I feel that maybe there's apologies that maybe have needed been had. Maybe there's, we've taken a moment, maybe we've need to, where we're reflecting on something, or maybe we're needing to reflect on something here, Gemini, because the Six of Swords feels with this is Mercury in Aquarius, the Six of Swords. And when you think about Aquarius energy, that deals with friendships. And maybe there's something here, just with groups in general, but there's something here that I feel where it's like we haven't maybe had a chance to maybe to express some sort of feelings possibly here. And maybe this is the chance, maybe now that maybe you have this new language, maybe you weren't sure how to explain it before, but maybe now it's just something here about maybe some sort of repairing that can happen here possibly. But and maybe we're trying to maybe figure out how to manipulate a situation, or and I don't mean in like a, you know, in a conniving way, but it's like we're trying to figure out how to go about this the right way possibly, Gemini. Or maybe this is something with someone else who you're noticing is trying to get in touch with you. So, you know, take this as it resonates. But I feel that make sure, I feel with the Six of Swords being here, that you do take a moment here, Gemini. I feel with, if this is something where we've decided to close the door on something, that you do reflect on this. With the King of Swords being in reverse, what did you learn from this situation? And I feel like it's not a matter of who was at fault, but just how did the situation get to that place, so that we have tools going forward here with the Queen of Pentacles to prevent that from happening in any sort of future groups that come into the mix here. And you have met yourself differently, you know, because we have quite a bit of people gathered here, but just something to think about there, Gemini. maybe something was said while Mercury again was kind of zipping through. Zipping through, we said some things, and yeah, it happens. But life, I feel like, life goes on. We learn, we grow. We just got to communicate. And I feel that's going to be very important coming in here for this next energy for you, Gemini. Because let's talk about this full moon penumbral lunar eclipse that's happening in Libra. And that's going to be happening on the 25th of March at about midnight. And that's going to be happening at 5 degrees, 7 minutes of Libra. So a penumbral eclipse, it's not a very visible, there's nothing really visibly happening with the moon, but there is a subtle shadow that's casting across here. But with the full moon that's happening here, I feel like the subtleties are being really brought to light here. That maybe some sort of hunches that things aren't, or some sort of like signals that possibly, I'm not saying that all relationships are going to collapse, but I feel that there is a more attentiveness that is happening in relationships. And I feel like for you, Gemini, being that yours is a sign that, Gemini does deal with, when you think about like how you communicate with those your immediate environment, there's all types of reactions, and when you're curious and things. So Gemini is about that kind of small gestures, the lifts of eyebrows, the the real subtleties, the smile, like all of those things. And so I feel that there's this heightened type of awareness that's happening here, Gemini, where, again, pay attention to your relationships. Go from this place of maybe communication into a place of observation, and seeing how maybe others maybe kind of play with their words a little bit, and being more intentional with, because I'm not sure what this apologies is about here, but that may be some. We'll talk about that in the next energy too, because maybe there's something here that's kind of working with this Pisces energy that we're maybe even needing to make some peace. But I feel this full moon that's happening here. It is interesting because when you think about the full moon, it is an opposition where the sun and the moon are not on the same page. And it's just like, how do they work together, their differences? Can they work together, their differences? And what are some things that we're able to agree on? And what are some things that we may need to leave behind? Or maybe some things might be irreconcilable. Irreconcilable? You get what I'm trying to say, Gemini. It's fine. Someone needs a dictionary, but it's okay. And let's get an oracle on this, Gemini. Let's see what's going on with this energy here. Oh. Huh. Interesting, Gemini. Thank you, higher self. So you have the Poet card here, which is a card of relationships and vulnerability. And Gemini, so this So I feel this Poet here is really kind of, like I was saying, kind of checking in with your relationships. Maybe you've been in this sort of superficial place, Gemini. Maybe we're observing the people around us have been maybe in this sort of like kind of autopilot type of place. So how everything is everything is fine, everything's wonderful, everything's lovely, everything's this, everything's that. And, there's not do we have a safe space to collapse and not need to apologize and explain that why we're feeling all of this type of way here. And Gemini, I do feel that, and listen, this, just take this as it resonates. I do feel that, especially for Gemini in your sun, moon, or rising, I feel that if you're maybe processing something right now, maybe there was something with a relationship something broke off, maybe we had something where we didn't get the apology or get a chance to apologize or get a chance to explain or whatever that may be looking like. And the Gemini, that's tough. I just had something maybe a few months ago that just happened like that, and it just, And something that may help with that, Gemini, maybe writing about this type of thing. I feel Gemini energy, like I was saying, if you have it in your sun, moon, or rising placements, could benefit from writing, getting this stuff out, because, again, it's a lot when you think about that. Your sign, like no other sign, you perceive and your mind works the quickest. So with all this stuff that's going on, and then you add in your everyday things on top of that, make sure that you're checking in with yourself there, Gemini, making sure that your relationships are fine. Maybe you have been kind of overworking here, and maybe there's a need to maybe get out with this Three of Cups and do maybe some more socializing there. Get a chance to talk with, talk about some of the things that you've been doing, maybe some of the victories, maybe some of the frustrations that you've been going through. But let's get some tarot on this, Gemini. Let me get some details. And this might be something that is a bit out of your comfort zone there, Gemini, and that's yeah, but let's see what's going on. Ooh, there's your ruler. I think you heard yourself. Let's see what's going on here, Gemini. Alright, so you have the Three of Swords and the Five of Cups in reverse. Then you have the Nine of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and then Mercury here, the Magician there, Gemini. And I feel with the Magician being here, that this is... I almost feel like with these, because this is very interesting, Gemini. You got some very, very kind of rough cards here, and I'm gonna switch this up a little bit. You got some pretty intense cards here with the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, Three of Swords in reverse. But I like the Three of Swords in reverse because this is growing from these situations. This is healing from this thing, but I just feel there's something here with one. I feel this magician, the magician is our manifestation and the tools that we have to create stuff. And I just feel like one, I'm getting an energy of being mindful of blanket statements when we say, like, let's say if we had a relationship that went south, for example, that, oh, everyone does this to me or everyone does that, because then that's what we're attracting, Gemini. And it's not to say that you're looking for that, but if we stay in that vibration, Nine of Cups, and that's what's going to keep coming around. But I do feel that there's something here as far as just like, there's something that's maybe needing to be processed here. I feel with the Five of Cups, Gemini, something where maybe you're kind of questioning your self-worth here with the Five of Pentacles. Maybe you're getting into this place where, because the Five of Pentacles is like, it can be the solitary energy. It can be kind of feeling left out in the cold, feeling this sense of vulnerability. They have very little protection here against this weather, and it's snowing outside, and the Five of Pentacles is Mercury and Taurus, and that's, I feel like, is really kind of thinking about your self-worth and being careful about getting stuck in the rut, getting stuck in where we're diminishing ourselves and kind of slowing our process down here, Gemini. And I'm getting like a knowing your worth with the Four of Pentacles being here. And that no relationship defines you. That's something I feel like is important too, that, mistakes happen in relationships. We can, things just happen. But I do feel that at some point it's like, I feel like when we get into like whose fault it was and things like that, I feel like that ultimately becomes a waste of time. It takes two to tango, and we all, I feel like if we can agree that all parties could have been at a better vibration, we can start moving somewhere a bit more constructively, so, and Gemini, let's actually move this over, because let's talk about this next one here, because we have Pluto. lovely Pluto that's going to be traversing through Aquarius over the next 20 years. He'll be there till like 2043. That's going to be something. He'll probably do some retrograde between Aquarius and Pisces. It'll be exciting. But this is going to be a very interesting one for you, Gemini, because, and for all of us, but Pluto's going to be forming an aspect with your placements over these next 20 years. And if you're like myself and have early degrees of Gemini, it's already been kind of going to work there. And it's going to bring changes to the people your groups. Pluto's going to, because this is forming a trine with your Gemini placements, and trines do bring about this sense of harmony. But I feel like it's going to be, in order to achieve that harmony, we need to find where there's dissonance. And so there may be some things that Pluto will bring up things. And I feel like Pluto's really going to, it has been really kind of testing with these changes, can the group withstand when someone kind of breaks away from the mold, or when there's this shift in a dynamic? How do we go about that? And I feel like that's going to be kind of the question here, Gemini. And I almost feel like for you it's going to be this, I feel like how you connect with people is going to be very different. Of course, how you see people is going to be in a different type of way. I feel how because Pluto is about power as well. And I feel like this is bringing power to the people, but people, I feel like we've forgotten how to talk with each other a little bit. I feel like with all the stuff that happened with the whole COVID thing, and that the whole social, that kind of, I've noticed people are talking about a lot of like social anxieties and things like that. And so I feel that the sign that is known as the communicators, and you do way more than just communicate, Gemini, but I feel like this Pluto in Aquarius can get you to where you can kind of bring maybe harmony back to the collective, because this is more than just what's happening on an individual level. The outer planets affect us globally, and of course the personal planets too, but the outer planets, they form generational aspects. And I feel that Pluto is trying to find where the collective consciousness needs healing. What are some things that we need to fix together, and that takes the individual to show up and show out and spread the gift. So this is a very powerful time for the air signs and for air placements. Aquarius in particular, of course, but the fact that you and Libra are receiving some very supportive language, I feel, with Pluto. Again, it's always intense with Pluto, but I feel like it's smoother to integrate, depending on how you work with Pluto and your relationship with Pluto. So, but let's get, interesting, Gemini. So, thank you, yourself. So you have the Pilgrim card in reverse here, which is a card of opportunities and growth. And if that ain't a Hermit, basically in reverse, that's very interesting, Gemini. Because I feel, and that's, you got Mercury rules over Virgo along with yourself. And I feel that there's something here, Gemini, partly from your relationships. I feel that there's an invitation here to analyze, because that's one big thing with Virgo. They're going to find solutions to this and grow. Any sort of mishap, any sort of failure is an opportunity to grow and to expand. And I feel that there's this need to just kind of reflect and evaluate how these relationships that have gone, maybe what are some things that maybe what are some things that you maybe didn't get to explain there, Gemini, or something here about maybe like words that haven't been said, or but there's something here that there's needing to, if a relationship is done, it's done. But I feel there is something here that's wanting to, that maybe there's a part of you that thinks they're done, but it's still not quite. There's still some things that maybe need to be processed here. This Five of Cups being in reverse, this Three of Swords. There's still some. Let's get some tarot on this, Gemini. Get some details with this. Let's see what's going on here, Gemini. All right, so you have the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. And then you have the Five of Wands, the World card, Saturn energy, and the Nine of Swords upright. And, you know, the Five of Wands is a card of conflict, but conflict does give you opportunity to grow. Gemini gives you something here to work with, but I do feel there's some sort of either some fear or some sort of anxiety that's maybe coming along with this. You know, maybe this is something close. The Ten of Cups could be, again, there's this, with the Three of Cups, Ten of Cups, this could be, again, maybe some sort of friends that are happening here, some sort of family. The Ten of Cups can be a family type of deal, but something here is just like, it's just not how we pictured. And this is, I feel like, well, what, you know, what, it's just like, what about this picture needs changing in a sense? What do we need to bring to a close here with the world? There's something that I feel, and that's interesting because I almost feel like that there's something here that this Saturn is kind of making you look at in a sense here, Gemini. And I only say that too because, you know, that's actually kind of a nice little segue here. I think let's move on to this next energy, Gemini, because this is going to involve Saturn. We have Saturn we have Mars that's in Pisces, you have Neptune that's in Pisces, and then we have Mars, Saturn, and Neptune that are in Pisces. I thought that flowed better. Let's talk about Saturn. Because Saturn's been in Pisces since the 23rd of May, or excuse me, the 7th of March 2023, and he'll be there till the 24th of May, but he's going to do a little retrograding back and forth, of course. But these energies going through Pisces right now, they've been forming squares with your Gemini placements. And Saturn's, I'd want to say, at about 10 degrees or so last I checked. He's starting to move along a little bit through Pisces. Granted, he's going to go retrograde or like close to, well, no, it'll be closer to Cancer season when he's going retrograde. But with Saturn moving along here, Gemini, I feel that there has been this opportunity for you to, I almost feel like that it's been an invitation to look at things in a bigger type of way here, because I feel Gemini energy has that potential of overloading if there's not something that we have an outlet for that, like some sort of healthy outlet to process all of the stimuli and things that come your way there, Gemini, from technology to just your everything around you, from the people that you talk to, from the things that you hear, from, just all of the things, and I feel that this Saturn here is just you getting a bit more, like, it's like this discipline to see yourself a bit deeper, in a sense, to look at your relationships, possibly, considering that you got this stuff that's coming through here as opportunities for growth, as an opportunity for forgiveness, an opportunity to let things go, to let things that have been kind of holding this maybe power over you, in a sense here, Gemini. This could be maybe some childhood trauma. Maybe this is some, whatever this is, maybe this is some sort of authority. Saturn can deal with that sort of authoritative type of energy, but that's what I feel like he's kind of maybe doing for you. Like, there's this stuff that may be coming up in these relationships, possibly, and there's this reason that this is happening here. I'm not. That's interesting, Gemini. And then you have Mars that's getting ready to, or that's going to be entering into Pisces on the 22nd of March at about 4:45 p.m. and will be there through the 30th of April. And I feel with this energy, Gemini, that maybe there's this energy for you that it's like we're wanting to maybe close things out, we're wanting to do stuff, but there's something that's stopping you, in a sense. That's something that is, it maybe there's something hard here that is, it's, maybe because we're getting in this Pisces energy, things are feeling a bit more sensitive. So but I feel that this is something here that we're we're not going to, it's going to be hard to do some really good growth if we're not afraid to be under a little be in that discomfort, is what I'm kind of feeling with this Mars and Pisces energy. There's something here. It's like maybe we don't have the emotional capacity for it. We don't have this here, but I just feel like that's fair, but pay attention to how holding on to this stuff can affect the body, can affect your energies. Because Mars is that just something to think about. How, I'm getting almost like a Ten of Wands energy, but and then you got Neptune that's been traveling through Pisces, their Gemini, since 2011, and she'll be there till the 30th of March 2025, and she's like, Saturn will do a little retrograding back and forth between Pisces and Aries. But this energy for you, I feel over these last, like for about 13 years now, this has been, this has been forming, like, like with other signs, it's been forming squares with your placements. But I feel like Neptune has just been challenging your mind, has been challenging you to think of things a little bit bigger than the mind, because being Mercury ruled, Gemini is the energy of the things that we see, again, our immediate environment. But what do we do about the things that we feel, that more kind of intuitive side of of Gemini, because you are a sign of duality. And I feel that I feel like Neptune has just been trying to almost, I feel like it's almost like been trying to turn your receptors a little bit more inward. How we have this almost double hermit in reverse here. And to allow yourself to kind of free yourself up from this sort of physical world type of stimuli here, only trusting the things that you see, touch, and being a bit more curious about the things that you can explain. That sort of that when you have that sort of like ideas, like this sort of like how thoughts can, just how Gemini energy can formulate thoughts in words and even things along those lines. I feel like Gemini is like expert wordsmiths, and has a way of just really quick, and I just feel that this is learning that yes, there is some intelligence, of course, and mental stuff that comes with that, but there's something that just comes naturally to you as well, and it's like acknowledging that sort of natural part to it. Because really, and I read this about this definition of Gemini energy that I really enjoyed. It was from this book by Stephen Forrest, and it had mentioned that Gemini energy, just perceives everything around them. They just take in, from computer, black, wall, cards, like things like that, just taking it all in before, but it's doing that before the thought even forms. The thought is just what do you call it? Epiphenomenal, so like, I just feel that this Neptune is wanting you to, and while we still have a little bit of this energy left because she's wrapping up, her time in Pisces. And then she's going to be forming, she's going to be going from this tougher energy to this more harmonious energy when she moves into Aries starting next year, Gemini. So I feel this can be one, you meet yourself deeper here now and started expanding your mind is going to be even easier when Neptune is in Aries, and you can really start getting some stuff kind of cooking there. We talk about an opportunity for some growth, but there's some things I just feel like that maybe we need to kind of close out in a sense, or maybe get some peace with here, Gemini. But thank you, higher self. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, interesting, Gemini. All right. So you have the Smith card here, which is a card of overthinking and taking action. And so I feel with this, Gemini, just be mindful again as far as just, especially with all this Aries energy coming through, of overworking the mind. Making sure that we're taking appropriate breaks from things, allowing yourself just to detach from some stuff, whether this be, and I mean from like, this can be from too much scrolling on social media. This could be from too much just scrolling on the phone in general. This can be from maybe even doing too much, consuming too much information, doing too much reading. I've been guilty of that. Just again, it consuming, but not having a place to dump it. Because Gemini, that stuff is heavy. When you tune in to the body, that is a lot to carry on there, and it just needs to, I get up every day, I write for about 20 minutes. It's usually about 2 pages, and there's no rhyme or reason. It's literally what I start off with, what I'm grateful for, what I intend to do, or just mainly what I'm grateful for. And then it's literally whatever thoughts are just kind of flowing through, I just write them down. We're just going with it. There's no need to expand on it. Once that thought's done, next. And just kind of keep it, just let it, and it's just literally just a mind dump. Just clearing out the garbage bin. And so that you can welcome in fresh energy, so that it can process all the stuff, so that you can take action. Because I feel what can maybe happen with Gemini energy is that you can have this wealth of knowledge, but then there's no wisdom with it. The King of Swords in reverse. Wisdom is knowledge in motion, knowledge in action. So I feel like let's get into this place too, where we're not just thinking about writing it. Maybe even This could even be forming a stronger relationship with yourself, you know, allowing yourself to put yourself in more kind of vulnerable positions. Maybe this is putting out a piece of work that you have, or that you've wanted to start it up, or something like that, and like not overthinking what could, all the things that could happen, you know, just seeing what actually happens and then adapting from that, then taking action as it comes through, as opposed to creating unnecessarily like problems and what ifs for yourself. And that can apply for anything, Gemini, whether this is a conversation that's needing to be had. You know, we can create all of this stuff, what we think this future is going to be, and 9 times out of 10 it's not what we think it's going to be. It always manifests something different. So oh, and there you are, Gemini. I love it. Fantastic. Think you're higher self. All right, Gemini. So you have a lot of your cards here, because the Nine of Swords is one of your cards, but you have the Three of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, the Six of Wands, and then you, Gemini, the Lovers upright, and then you have the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords in reverse here. And let's talk about you. Because with the Lovers being here, I feel the Lovers is a card of choice. And I feel for some, there are some choices that we do need to make, whether this be about a relationship or this is just starting up something in general, because there are some energies here with some opportunities. Maybe this is an opportunity to start up a relationship with someone. I mean, and not even in just a romantic capacity, but this could be maybe in a co-creative type of way there, Gemini, with the Three of Pentacles being here. This could be something where maybe even I'm even getting for some, maybe even like a community project here is going on, something where we're kind of pooling together resources. There's like this meeting of minds of kind of going about things maybe a different way here. This could be maybe even some sort of community, like I'm getting like community service type of work, something here to kind of help, just kind of get some minds kind of cooking here, Gemini. And Gemini, that Jupiter's getting ready to enter your... Oh, I love that. Perfect. I was just about to talk about this. Jupiter's about to enter your sign here, too. The Eight of Swords is Jupiter in Gemini. And so this can be where I feel like conversations are going to be moving. This isn't a time to be overthinking. This is a time to be planning, taking action. Instead of overthinking, I find that, when we start grounding ideas and start grounding actions, then that gives you less time for it to become, to kind of become this big snowball and kind of avalanche into something ridiculous. So this can be where writing down some of these decisions, they're getting this roadmap that we're building here, kind of getting out of your head with the Eight of Swords that's being here, because we may be just thinking just way too much, and we need to kind of simplify things a little bit, be a little bit more focused. But this Six of Cups here, Gemini, I do feel there's something here about needing to share something with someone. There may have been something that came out, maybe there was some sort of truth or something here where I feel like we had something that maybe had came to light. Whatever this was, maybe you can have a conversation about this, maybe you can't, but it's just like, have we made peace with whatever this energy may be here? But all right, Gemini, I think I'm going to leave that one there. Now let's talk about this last energy here, Gemini, which is Taurus. Because speaking of Big Papa, we have Jupiter that's in Taurus, and then we have Uranus that's in Taurus. Now Jupiter is going to be in Taurus until the 25th of May. So right around, like a little bit into your... Oh, it's like like shortly after your birthday season starts. So I feel that up until this point right now, this is with Jupiter in Taurus, this is a time I feel like to really kind of, for you, Gemini, I feel, especially if you had some sort of relationships and things that may have kind of come to some ends here, things have been kind of changing. Check in with how you're feeling as far as like how's your self-esteem holding up? How do you value yourself, And I feel again, like, especially if we're holding this in this place of like whose fault something was, I feel that becomes, it's just unnecessary baggage after a while. And I want to, let me not say unnecessary. I feel like that baggage becomes very heavy after a while. And I feel like it gets to this place where it's just like I was saying, what did we learn from a situation as opposed to how could someone have done, how dare they have, you know what I mean, Gemini? And I feel like there's this, with Jupiter and Taurus, this is an appreciation for kind of the simpler things in life, not letting things be so overly complicated. Taurus is a very, very kind of simpler type of energy. It's appreciation for just the environment around you, and letting kind of, I feel like almost letting kind of nature be your teacher in a sense. We've been in such a culture that does, I feel like, is overthinking, overstimulated, always on the move, constantly just like, relationships are strange. It's very interesting, the energy that we're in, and I feel like this can be where we can just kind of tune into the environment a little more, grow from that. And I feel like it is an invitation for you, Gemini, there to just kind of help clear your thoughts as well too. There's something here just restoring your faith in just more than technology, in a sense, is what I'm getting with that. And that's interesting to say that, just because with Uranus, because Uranus is the higher octave of your ruler, Mercury, and Uranus is in Taurus right now and will be there through the 7th of July 2025, which will retrograde between, which I feel Uranus and Taurus, where it has been kind of a bit of a rough one, I feel, in Taurus a little bit. I feel like it's going to be a fascinating one when it gets to your energy there, Gemini. I feel like we're going to be communicating and perceiving things in a very different way collectively. I'm excited for that. But with where he's at right now, I do feel that this has been really kind of asking yourself, what do you value, and how's the security in what you value, how's that looking? Do you find, is there freedom in the thing that you value, like in the stuff that you put value in? This challenges that sort of like materialistic side of Taurus at a lower expression, because Taurus loves stability, loves this foundation, loves these earthly things, but we can't take any of this stuff with us. So I feel like, that's where the self-esteem comes in with Taurus. It's not about building stuff outside of yourself. This is about building within. And the choices that we're making for the growth of you there, Gemini. So I feel this is an opportunity to I almost feel like Uranus is wanting you to learn your worth now, and I know your worth always, but really kind of get kind of grounded in yourself, and where do you see yourself going? Because I feel that when Uranus is transiting through your sign, I'm just picturing like this, because that's going to be forming conjunctions with your placements there, with your Gemini placements. So who knows what that may be looking like there, Gemini. Some spiritual stuff, some 12th house things may be kind of happening there. But at least I feel just the way I feel like we're communicating, it's like how we're exchanging is going to shift here. So you're just, it's like you just want to be a bit more in tune, I feel, with yourself. Let me get an oracle on this, Gemini. All right. Take care of yourself. Let's see what's going on here. Interesting, Gemini. So you have the Vengeance card in reverse, and this is a card to overcome slights and a choice. And so, So, what I'm feeling with this, Gemini, is that one, we do have a choice with how every situation is an opportunity for growth. You know, when we get through, no matter what choice we make, there's always an opportunity for growth. And I feel that there is this learning to forgive these experiences that may have happened, maybe with some sort of relationship. Possibly this could be your relationship, maybe even with the universe, possibly maybe with your spirituality, maybe this whole Neptune squaring your stuff. You know, whenever we get into Pisces season, it's been a whole thing since Neptune has been really strong in Pisces, and she is very strong in Pisces. But you know, I feel be mindful, Gemini. Your thoughts are powerful. Your words are powerful. Your words are very powerful. Air sign energy in particular. So just be careful what you're putting out there, what you're telling others, what you're telling yourself, what you're talking about others in, because you know, like I was with Uranus being the higher mind, you know. Mercury, you know, Uranus reminds me of the collective consciousness, and we have to remember that how we treat others is how we're treating ourselves. And granted, you know, Uranus doesn't see, you know, good or bad, right or wrong, things along those lines, but how what I feel with this is that if collectively, if we're all choosing vengeance, if we can't overcome, you know, like if we're all choosing this lower vibration, then that's just where the collective consciousness is going to shift. And so now I feel like this is trying to shift things a different direction. And it's, you know, I've been getting this energy of like a why me, but it's not just you. This is all of us that are needing to step up here and learning to overcome slights. You know, that when people are coming at us or when things are doing, you know, may spread negative vibrations, we don't know what they're going through. They could have just had an awful experience, could have lost their job, they could have numbered of things. And granted, it's not their place to put that on you, but you don't have to take that with you. You know what I mean? We don't have to hold on to that. And I know it's easier said than done there, Gemini, but there is some semblance of choice in that, you know. So that's what Pluto's taught me with this trine. You know, it is a choice, you know, as far as just like how am I gonna feel, you know, how do I feel about that, you know. And it's just analyzing that, Gemini. The nice thing, another thing from that book that I really enjoyed, that it said that Gemini at its highest expression is free from opinion. It doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion. It's just that it doesn't matter. You know, it's making peace. Gemini sees the duality in all things. And so I feel that there is a, you know, tapping into that dual nature again and kind of seeing stuff. But that's, oh, look at this, Gemini. All right, Major Arcana City. So you have the Knight of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Sun card, and the Chariot in reverse, Cancer energy. And then you have the Empress, Venus, and then you have her higher octave, Neptune here, the Hanged One in reverse, Gemini. And then let's switch back over. Because, I feel Gemini... Where are we starting? With the Chariot being here. There's a lot of kind of stagnancy that's here, Gemini, with the Chariot, the Eight of Wands, the Knight of Wands being in reverse. And I feel and I shouldn't say stagnancy, there's a need to, I feel, slow down a little bit. And maybe this could be even slows down from how the choice that we're making. I feel that before maybe we're committing to something, or it's just taking a moment of pause, or something here, Gemini. There's a need to, with the sun being here, the sun is giving me this, being in reverse. There's something here. I may need to get a little bit more with the sun, because it feels that there's something here where we may not have been happy with where things are at right now. And this could be with our choices. It's just... Let me get a little bit more with the sun, Gemini, before I wrap this up here. Interesting. All right, Gemini. Think you had yourself. That's very interesting, because all of your cards are here. So you got the sun is clarified by the Four of Cups and the Ten of Swords in reverse. And so with all of your energy here, Gemini, because you got the 8, 9, and 10 of Swords, the King of Swords for me, your court card in this, and then your Major Arcana card here. So the choices that I feel like, one, there's a need to be mindful of the choices that you're making. There's, I feel like, almost an acceptance here with the Hanged One, and even something with the Four of Cups. A needing to, it's not that we don't care, but almost this acceptance with the Four of Cups here, as far as like, we can't control the decisions, the choices that other people make. We may feel some kind of way. We may have been slighted. You may have been betrayed. You may have been whatever this is. But I feel that this is something that the sun is, I feel like, wanting to show you where you may be holding on to something that may be affecting an otherwise abundant Gemini. It's very fascinating what's going on with this energy here, Gemini. I feel, be mindful of your relationships. Be open to conversation. Because I feel that with that Four of Cups, that can be this sort of like, I don't care, kind of apathetic, like whatever. And I almost feel the Empress here. Because, Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Are we feeling, and not that you're responsible for your relationships, but it's more so, do you feel secure in how you're showing up in your relationships? Not what other people think about you, but do you feel how you're showing up and how things are going? Do you feel that things are abundant? Do you feel that things are not even abundant? Do you feel things are harmonious? Do you feel that things are balanced, that they're fair, that there's this reciprocity that's happening here? Or do we need to approach a conversation, like I was talking about, Neptune's the higher octave of Venus? Do we need to approach something from a higher place? You know, do we need to take a moment and pause, take a beat, step away, but maybe come back a little bit later? Whatever this is, you know, even Ten of Swords in reverse, it is knowing that you can heal from these things, Gemini, but and there's something here. I just feel that there's something here, maybe for some, you know, that we may need to be more accountable for the decisions that you're making than you realize, possibly. Or this could be someone that you're dealing with, but I feel like it's not your responsibility. You know, like, if you can't we can't force awareness. What you can do is put up boundaries, though, where it's just like, you know what, if we can't communicate, then it's not gonna work for me. It's not gonna work for me because I can't be there. We gotta That's Pluto and Aquarius. You know, we're speaking our the vibrations change and dynamics are changing, and Pluto means business. And it's noticeable shifts, like, really early, really kind of early on. He gave us like a taste of it, and then, like, as soon as he, like, settled in, it's just like, all right, power dynamics, what's happening, you know. And it's very fascinating. But all right, Gemini, I think I'm going to leave that there. But if anything resonated with you, or if you like that, give it a thumbs up and share this, Gemini, because this was very interesting. You know, this was kind of, be mindful be mindful of what you're saying. Be mindful of what you're saying, what others are saying to you. And I'm not saying, like, we're just, like, watching our words just to keep the peace, or, you know, we're not letting people walk all over you. But I do there's something like aggressive here or something. Cancer had something kind of, but yours feels more, it almost feels like a little, like, not necessarily gossipy, but it feels like it's more so less reactive that I was getting from Cancer, and more so just like air energy, wordplay. Be mindful of that. You know, like, I feel like it's just like there's a lot of sword fighting, and no one's coming out unscathed here, Gemini. But yeah, definitely share this, and then subscribe there, you lover. Hit that bell button, get notified when I release videos each week, basically. And last few things there, Gemini. Yeah, definitely. You know, check your chart. You know, we can check your transits out there, Gemini. Maybe you have some planets that are going through your seventh house right now that may be sparking up some of this tension that's going on here. You know, we could look at maybe what's going on with your Venus placement. We can just check your chart there. Maybe you see it, just see what's going on, and if this is something that's resonating with you. But yeah, just kind of see what's going on with your chart there, Gemini. I have links down in the description box with the services that I offer, and also on my Instagram page as well. And while we're exploring, you know, because you happen to get, like, the hottest ticket, I'm not sure where it went right now, but you have the hottest ticket, the Chariot, to come over to my other channel, the Chariot and Friends. And if you have any Cancer in your placements there, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mercury, wherever, Gemini, come on over to my other channel, the Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. Sometimes I'll throw a weekend one if there's an energy that's not being covered during the week. I talk about lunar shenanigans as far as, like, what sign she's in, what phase she's in, when she's going void of course. Every time she's at, like, a major point, like a first quarter, full moon, and, like, the last quarter, I'll break down the aspects and the chart analysis that is going on during that lunar cycle to get a little bit more in depth in there. It's been a fun old time. I've been enjoying that. So, and in Gemini, come on, I mean, come on. I'm basically, so when you think about your planets and things, my sun sign's in Cancer, but my moon sign's in Gemini. So when I'm looking to my sun placement, I look to the moon since it's Cancer's ruled by the moon. So the moon's important to what's going on in my chart. So, and I've operated a lot in my Gemini energy. I was raised by someone who has their sun in Gemini. I'm not 100% on my stepfather's chart, but based off the time that I've been given, he has a Gemini moon. My stepsister's a Gemini, has a Gemini sun. His sister has there's like a lot of Gemini energy that I've been around there. So I love Gemini energy. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, Gemini. So I can get you out of here. Sword fighting. Yeah, the Ace of Swords here, Gemini. And I will say, having been around a lot of Gemini energy, it can cut sharp. It can sharper than you think. And just not even just being around a bunch, but seeing how because it's fast. It's fast, and sometimes you say things, you mean it, but you don't mean it how it came out. It's missing that text sometimes. Sometimes it's just literally you just say it. It's just like, oh, what happened? But your words are powerful. Your thoughts are powerful. So keep that in mind. This is an opportunity of mindfulness. Opportunity to realize that you have a choice. We may need to be just mindful of our energies with Mercury taking an extended stay in Aries. Be mindful of just like, just coming in hot, Gemini, coming in quick. So yeah, just be wary of that. Just. And then when something happens, I feel like it's an opportunity for growth. Like, hey, yes, apologies. Mouth got ahead of my head. Not to excuse what I said. I said what I said. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. I'm not denying it, but it's just like we can, and that's why I feel like the beauty about Gemini energy is that you can just kind of laugh it off a little bit. You would have thought with some of the things that I've said that I would have been in a fight. Never, and probably should have. Thanks, higher self. But Gemini, you have the experience card here. And that's what I feel like you're kind of going through an experience this season. This is going to be one where you're kind of coming in fresh with this youthful hand here, but by the time you get out of this energy, you'll be wise, maybe a little bruised and battered, but wiser nonetheless. I feel like this is going to be a season where you may not understand something in the immediate, but in the grand scheme of things, it's going to make sense. So, nothing's random. All these experiences happen for a reason. And yeah, it's leading to some sort of transcendence here, Gemini, some sort of big growth. So yeah, just be mindful, but you stay safe. You stay safe out there, Gemini. Cancer's was more. They got like theirs was like a warrior. There was a brawler. So it's just like yours was definitely a bit lighter, but I just feel that just be mindful of any sort of gossiping or spreading negative energies in general. Be aware of that, okay, Gemini? Raise the vibration through the roof. To Mercury. Make sure be thoughtful during the Mercury retrograde. Yeah, just be very mindful of that, Gemini. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.